After centuries of cyclical rebellion, the political and religious history of ancient Israel collapsed into the Babylonian exile. Here, behind the walls of Babylon, the mechanics of their covenant with God broke down completely. In the middle of this captivity, the prophet Jeremiah delivers an architectural blueprint for a new covenant, one designed to operate differently than the Mosaic system that had just failed. To understand how this new system operates, we have to diagnose the exact mechanical failure of the old one. The exile proved that a historical reboot would not work. The covenant framework itself required a structural upgrade. A common theological shorthand treats the Old Covenant as a rigid, graceless, and purely external system of laws. This logic assumes that internal enablement, divine grace, and the work of the Holy Spirit are New Testament innovations. This shorthand is textually false. The Old Covenant offered profound grace and genuine heart transformation to anyone who actually sought it. Understanding Jeremiah 31 requires identifying the actual structural vulnerability of the Old Covenant and examining the two-part engineering used to solve it. The first required mechanism of the New Covenant is total atonement. We can see why by looking at how the previous Levitical system handled sin. The animal sacrifices outlined in the Mosaic Law carried a critical limitation. They only provided atonement for unintentional sins. This created a severe theological crisis for intentional, defiant acts. King David's adultery and subsequent murder of Uriah are the primary case study for this flaw. Under the Mosaic Law, David had no legal sacrifice available for those crimes. His only recourse, as recorded in Psalm 51, was to throw himself entirely on unmediated, direct divine mercy. Jeremiah 31 alters this framework. God promises that under the new covenant, He will forgive their iniquity and remember their sin no more. The prophet Isaiah echoes this shift, describing God blotting out transgressions entirely, taking an eraser and removing the sin from the historical record. This comprehensive atonement is built into the base structure of the covenant itself, rather than existing as a merciful exception to the rule. The new covenant engineers a total, structural amnesty that transcends the mechanical limits of the Levitical priesthood. Absolute forgiveness, however, only handles the past. To ensure the disaster of the exile is never repeated, the new system required a second mechanism, a way to guarantee future obedience. Jeremiah describes this solution. I will put my law within them and write it on their hearts. The external law operated like a wet paint sign. It commanded behavior, but lacked the power to grant a person the internal desire to actually obey. To find the mechanical definition of Jeremiah's poetic metaphor, we have to look at his contemporary, Ezekiel. Ezekiel explicitly defines this process as a surgical procedure, the removal of an unresponsive heart of stone replaced by a receptive heart of flesh. He reveals the engine driving this transformation. God states He will put His own Spirit within them to cause obedience. Jeremiah's law written on the heart is functionally identical to the indwelling of the Holy Spirit. It provides the internal capacity to obey that external laws simply cannot generate.
This raises a very important central paradox. If the Holy Spirit is the defining mechanism of the new covenant, does that mean Old Covenant believers were left without any internal enablement? No. Spiritual transformation and grace were fully available in the Old Testament. In Deuteronomy 30, Moses explicitly tells the Israelites that the law is not too hard for them, nor is it geographically out of reach. In Psalm 40, King David declares that the law is already within his heart, and he possesses a genuine delight to do God's will. Regenerate individuals under the Old Covenant experienced a genuine work of the Spirit that allowed them to love and obey God. The historical failure to obey was a deliberate human choice, not a systemic covenant impossibility. If heart transformation already existed, the failure of the Old Covenant was a fatal flaw in who was actually included in the covenant community. The true flaw, the Old Covenant was a national covenant based on ethnic birthright, not spiritual rebirth. This created a mixed set, including both believers and unbelievers under the same legal umbrella. The regenerate believers with transformed hearts were a tiny minority trapped inside. The unregenerate majority were the stiff-necked and hard-hearted population.
Their continuous rebellion consistently drove the entire nation into the curses of the covenant. The covenant collapsed because its ultimate fate was structurally yoked to a population that largely did not know the Lord. Jeremiah introduces a specific structural fix to this problem. They shall all know me, from the least of them to the greatest. The new covenant addresses the mixed set problem by anchoring the entry requirements of the covenant itself in spiritual rebirth, while maintaining God's standards. This visualizes the new covenant's primary innovation, redefining the boundaries of God's people. The breakthrough is exclusivity. The covenant community and the regenerate community are now a one-to-one circle. The new covenant universalizes the experience of grace for every individual within its specific boundaries. Because every single member has the Holy Spirit and a transformed heart, the historical cycle of national exile is permanently broken. Jeremiah's architectural blueprint removes the unregenerate variable from the community entirely. We can trace this ancient theological framework directly into the practical reality of the modern church. The theologian John Goldingay points out a striking paradox. If we possess this total forgiveness and guaranteed spirit enablement, why do modern believers in churches still profoundly struggle with sin? The theological ideal clashes with practical reality. Early New Testament churches, like the one in Corinth, often look just as flawed and rebellious as Old Testament Israel. The universal giving of the Spirit did not eradicate human flesh. Instead, it brought the active war against the flesh to the forefront of every believer's life. Yet, despite these daily struggles, the structural guarantee of the new covenant remains unbroken. The new covenant guarantees that the ultimate trajectory of God's people is permanent fidelity. This stability is the result of the parameters of the covenant being re-engineered by God's Spirit.